What I was really interested in is to find out what the walkers were actually doing, which separated them from the talkers. How does that become the award-winning department store when all department stores around the world are suffering? What did this chip do to completely disrupt commerce like we've never ever seen it before? The answer is that all winners are customer obsessed. And they are customer obsessed. Not one person spoke to me about their competitors. How much of your time do you spend on thinking about your competitors and changing your plans as a consequence? These guys just start with customers and work backwards. Ubiquity and scale no longer guarantees winning. In every continent, big operators are struggling. So if I were to give you the executive summary, if you want, of this particular lecture, I'd say success is now being wholly reframed by emotion. And ironically, it's the cold clinical data helping to build warm, individual, emotional relationships. But it's only helping. Most businesses are still updating their existing structures, but actually they're looking through the wrong end of the telescope now at their customers. They're saying, this is how we operate, this is what we've got, what should we change? When really, if I might be so bold, they should actually be thinking, wow, we now need to create an pictorial mindset, which I love to try and create, this giant wheel. They need to reimagine something that is seamless and totally joined up, giving positive influences to the customer. So rather than departments and silos and channels to market and all the other stuff you talk about, think of yourself as being part of the same system, seamlessly working together. All winners are totally purpose-led. What is this purpose? What's the purpose of purpose? You know, throwing all the marketing stuff to one side, purpose of purpose is so that you can recognize a good decision when you see it. Should it be black or should it be gold? Should we be on price? Should we be on value? Should we be expanding? Should we be local? Unless you understand what your grand ambition is, you actually are not going to recognize what a good decision looks like. And too often, I find businesses and organizations, when I go in, settle for a unity of presence. Lovely breakout areas, even a coffee franchise in reception and all that sort of stuff. But actually, they don't have the unity of purpose that the winners have. And just in case you think your purpose is to make money, it's not. It's an outcome. Are you proud to tell your customers what your purpose is? Are you proud? Because if you turn around and say, we're here to create shareholder value, that's like saying to a customer, please come and buy from me so I can make rich people even richer. It doesn't cut it. In fact, by way of an example, you've all heard of Patagonia, not a big business. They started off with a purpose of clean climbing. In other words, the cleats didn't crumble the rock face when you were climbing. So then that has now evolved and matured into a full-blown ambition to protect the whole environment. So what did they do on Black Friday? The biggest sales day in the American retail calendar. What did they do? They took an advertisement. It said, please don't buy our jacket unless you absolutely, completely have to. We will repair it. We can reuse material. We will recycle it. But the greatest way you can help the environment is not by buying stuff that you don't really need. Now, that is a completely purpose-led ambition. They're recognizing what a good decision looks like. Okay, so it's very well when you've got a worthy ambition of, saving the world or whatever. What happens if you're selling empty boxes? Where's the purpose in that? It's very obvious. This wonderful business says, we're helping people organize their lives. Bang! Suddenly, it starts to fall into place. You know the sort of people that you've got to employ and work with you, and you know exactly how you need to be speaking to customers who want to be organized. I wrote 5 years ago in my last book, Your Most Important Customer is on the Payroll. One of my heroes, Simon Sinek, has taken it to the next level, embracing this emotional component, saying, Customers will never love your business until your teams love your business, and ain't that the case? But how do you get people to love a business? It's very easy. You love them first. So if you take the Container Store, they take advertisements on February the 14th saying, we love our employees. They go out there, they say that's what they love. They're telling their customers that the business really loves the people that are working for them. And the people feel like $1 million. I know in Australia and indeed in England, we don't do a lot of love and corporateness coming together. But actually you start to see the benefit of when you see the way these guys operate. And it's really quite clinically business. He's saying talent is a whole ball game. One great person equals 3 good people. Therefore, if you've got one great person in terms of business productivity, you can afford to pay those people 50 to 100% more money. So it's really sound business. And they've been in the top 100 best businesses for the last 14 years. Winners also celebrate their staff. Do you know what this is? This is the inside of the Apple Macintosh. Steve Jobs said to his team, please sign this. You're the 50 people that helped me created it. You are artists. You are going to be celebrated. He actually said to them, you must be in the inside case of every Macintosh. How deeply do you think about how you celebrate your teams? Because you need to if you want to be customer obsessed. And we're all hardwired to love easy. Who doesn't love easy? Anyone ever said, could you make that a bit more difficult for me? Do we all agree with that? Yeah, well, why don't you use it in your businesses? Click and collect on 4. What numpty decided to come up with that as a good idea? I know what it was. Someone said, we get the women up there onto the top floor for their lipstick, and on the way down, they buy an ironing board and a curry. It doesn't work like that, ladies and gentlemen. You know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. Why do businesses do it? Because they think they get mixed up with the word simple and don't add the emotional component to it. Simple with emotion equals easy. That's why click and collect is so right. People don't want to be at home to wait for things to be delivered because that's on their time. I want it to be on my time. So I'll tell you, I'll pop in, pick it up from there. If it's there, yeah, 11 o'clock, I'll be there any time after 11. Hold it for me. So why not, ladies and gentlemen, why not make it easy everything? When you actually start doing that, you'll realize how these things start glaring out at you. The other thing which could do with a bit of emotion is service. Robots can do service. It's just a series of well-performed functions. I bet you even call it service in your businesses, don't you? When you add emotion to service, what do you get? You get customer care. That's what robots can't do. That's what your competition can't do. And taking it to the nth degree, this guy who must have had one of the most difficult jobs in the world, turning around JCPenney department store group in America, said, we want them to own the relationship, a chap called Marvin Ellison. So I said, well, I've heard, yeah, own the relationship. Okay, yeah. He said, it's all about empowerment. I thought, yeah, I've heard that one before as well. And then he said, they're going to need permission. I thought, empowerment and need permission? Where's this going? And then he dropped the bombshell. It's actually brilliant. He said, need permission to say no to customers. Wow. So the associate knows that they need permission to say no, and the whole of the infrastructure, the business, that big, seamless, positive influence, need permission to say no to customers. So what's going to be the future? I don't know what the future is. Everyone gets it wrong. One thing I can tell you, the writing on the wall is it won't include delivery drones unless you want your pizzas stone cold and soggy, right? 70% of the world's population in a generation will be living in cities. That means, you're going to always have to have balconies with little landing pads. All this drone stuff is free publicity for technology companies. Service will be viewed as a product. That's exactly why Amazon Prime have moved into profits, because they're actually selling service now. Customers will not be pushed around. In fact, we will hear more about this pull society. Okay, So what I call customerization is going critical. It's costly, it's time-consuming, but the customers want it. I interviewed the guy that was the creative head of Target in America during its heyday when they couldn't do a thing wrong, and he really summed it up well. And he said, it's so neat to be able to be part of the product and the experience. Bob Thacker, that was wonderful. Customerization will need and demand more sophisticated and connected logistics. I warned Australia about Zara 5 or 6 years ago, and that is all down to phenomenal logistics. You will need to be in that sphere. Digital trust will morph into a major brand attribute, so it has to be elevated out of the IT department to the trust imperative of a business. Joy and happiness in work is going to go critical. People just won't work at places where they are not appreciated. The Internet of Things, self-learning, self-acting. You're going to be having chopsticks that will detect bacteria. You will have scanners where you'll be able to see how fresh the melons are and how sweet they are with the pH contents and the sweet contents. And you'll also be able to test counterfeited drugs, which is a huge problem at the moment. You don't know what that white tablet is or whatever. Do you know what the most counterfeited drug is? Hard to believe, it is actually Viagra. I mean, who in heaven's name is going to take it back and say it doesn't work, mate? Thank you very much. It's been a great audience. Goodbye.
My name is Megan and I work with Luxottica Retail. Martin was really interesting this morning. There's some great thoughts to take away from it and take back to our business. It was really enjoyable. Yeah, a few good giggles in there.
Hi, my name is Bill Burton. I'm a General Manager at Centre Group, who's the owner and operator of Westfield in Australia and New Zealand. This morning we've heard from Martin. Another great performance. As a host of this morning, I have about 15 tables of clients and agencies here today, and the overwhelming feedback is fantastic from Martin this morning. Really got it. Love the insights into the mix of retail and marketing.
Neil Saunders, Managing Director of Conumino. I really enjoyed Martin's speech. It's always really insightful, and he brings really great examples from around the world. So it really brings his content to life, and it's very educational, but it's also really entertaining as well, which is exactly what he's preaching about.
Hi, my name's Jim Zammett, Dimmicks Burwood, and I thoroughly enjoyed Martin's presentation this morning. He was the first speaker, and he set the tone for the rest of the presentation. I think it was wonderful. I certainly got a lot out of it.
I'm Jane Truan from Sydney Tape. Yeah, we thought Martin was terrific, and we're all going out to buy his book. So, yeah, no, all the presenters were great, but yeah, he was a great way to start the day off, and yeah, it was great. We'll be back next year.
Stephen Tambakalis. I thought Martin was an absolutely energetic and exciting presenter. Loved his speech around the customisation and emotional, and how service really should be a product that brands need to really think about every single day.